I was 36 hours away from the most important trip of my life, my honeymoon. 8 months of planning, 8 months of approved PTO sitting in the system, and then my phone buzzed with an email that made my blood run cold. 3 words in the subject line: PTO request denied. What happened next nearly cost me my marriage before it even started.
Let me take you back to the beginning because you need to understand just how carefully I planned everything. I work as a senior systems analyst at a mid-sized logistics company. Been there for 6 years. Good reviews, never missed a deadline. The kind of employee who answers emails at 10 p.m. and doesn't complain about it. When my girlfriend Sarah said yes to my proposal in January, the first thing I did before we even picked a venue was request my honeymoon time off. 2 weeks in Greece. We dreamed about it for years. The flights, the hotels, the island hopping itinerary. We'd been planning this trip since before we were even engaged. I submitted my PTO request on January 15th for a trip departing September 20th, 8 months of advance notice. My manager at the time was a guy named Richard. Good guy, reasonable. He approved it within 48 hours. I even printed out the approval confirmation and pinned it to my cubicle wall like a countdown calendar. Every week I'd look at it and smile. Then, in April, everything changed. Richard got promoted to a different division, and we got a new manager named Denise Mitchell. She came from our competitor, hired specifically to shake things up and drive accountability. Those were the exact words our VP used in the announcement email. From day one, Denise made it clear she didn't care how things were done before. She wanted results, and she wanted them her way. Fine, I can adapt. I've worked for demanding managers before, but Denise had a particular obsession with attendance and availability. She implemented a new policy requiring 48-hour approval for any PTO, even if it was already in the system. She said previously approved requests would be honored pending review. I didn't think much of it. My honeymoon was months away, and I had documentation. Over the summer, Denise and I had a few run-ins. Nothing major, but enough to put me on her radar. In July, I pushed back on a project timeline she wanted. I told her, respectfully, that her deadline was unrealistic given our resources. She didn't like that. She said I was being resistant to leadership. In August, she asked me to cancel a doctor's appointment to attend a meeting that turned out to be a 30-minute status update. When I mentioned I'd rescheduled a medical procedure for it, she said, "Priorities reveal character." I started getting a bad feeling, but I kept my head down. My wedding was September 18th. The honeymoon flight left the 20th at 6 a.m. I just needed to get through it. 2 weeks before the wedding, I sent Denise a courtesy reminder about my upcoming time off. Standard practice. I attached the original approval from Richard, my flight confirmations, and our hotel bookings. Over $11,000 in non-refundable reservations. She replied with one line: "Received. Will review." 1 week before the wedding, I followed up. No response. 3 days before the wedding, I walked into her office. She was on a call but waved me in. When she hung up, I asked if she'd had a chance to confirm my PTO. She looked at me like I'd asked for a kidney. "We're in the middle of the Q3 system migration," she said. "I'm going to need all hands on deck through the end of September." I felt the floor drop out from under me. "Denise," I said, keeping my voice steady, "my honeymoon has been approved for 8 months. I have non-refundable flights and hotels. I'm getting married in 3 days. She smiled. Not a warm smile, the kind of people give when they know they have power over you. "I understand it's inconvenient, but the previous approval was made under different leadership. I need to assess current business needs. I'll let you know." I left her office shaking. The wedding happened. It was beautiful. Sarah looked incredible. Our families were there. For those few hours, I forgot about work entirely. We danced, we laughed, we cried happy tears. That night, after the reception, we went back to our hotel room. We were leaving for the airport in less than 30 hours. Everything was packed. Our bags sat by the door with little tags that said, "Grease or bust." I checked my phone one last time before bed. That's when I saw it. An email from Denise sent at 11:47 p.m. on my wedding night. The subject line, "PTO request denied." The body of the email was 3 sentences. "After careful review, I'm unable to approve your PTO request for September 20th through October 4th. Your presence is required for the Q3 system migration. Please report to work Monday at 8 a.m. I stared at the screen. Then I read it again. Then a third time. Sarah asked what was wrong. I couldn't speak. I just handed her the phone. She read it, her face went pale, then red. Then she said something I'd never heard her say before. She can't do this, can she? I didn't sleep that night. I spent 6 hours on my laptop gathering every piece of documentation I could find. The original approval, the company PTO policy, email chains, calendar confirmations, screenshot after screenshot. By 5 a.m., I had a plan. But it was a gamble, and if it didn't work, I'd either lose my job or my honeymoon. Maybe both.
All right, I have to stop here for a second because this is the moment where I had to make a choice that could have destroyed everything. Subscribe if you think Denise was completely out of line pulling this on my wedding night, and drop a comment. What would you have done in this situation? Would you have just shown up to work, fought back? I want to hear it because what I did next, I'm still not sure it was the right call, but you need to hear how this ended.
At 6:30 a.m., I sent an email to HR. Not just any HR representative. I went straight to the director of human resources, a woman named Patricia Vance. I'd met her once at a company event. She seemed reasonable. I laid everything out. The 8 months of advance notice, the original approval, the non-refundable reservations, the fact that the denial came at 11:47 p.m. on my wedding night. I attached 17 documents. I CC'd Denise. I also CC'd our VP of Operations, Denise's boss. His name was Marcus Chen. Then Sarah and I got in the car and drove to the airport. I know what you're thinking. That's insane. You're going to get fired. And maybe you're right, but I'd spent 6 years being the reliable guy, the one who never pushed back, the one who always said yes. And I realized that night that none of it mattered. Denise didn't see my loyalty. She saw an opportunity to flex power. We were sitting at the gate when my phone rang. It was Patricia from HR. "Mr. Holloway," she said, "I received your email. I want to assure you we're taking this very seriously. Can you tell me more about the timeline?" I explained everything. The approval in January, Richard's departure, Denise's policy changes, the wedding night email. Patricia listened without interrupting. When I finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "I'm going to make some calls. Don't turn off your phone." Our flight started boarding. Sarah squeezed my hand. We got on the plane. We had a 4-hour layover in Frankfurt. When I turned my phone back on, I had 11 missed calls and 23 emails. The first email that mattered was from Marcus Chen, the VP. It read, "James, I've reviewed your situation with HR and legal. Your PTO was validly approved in January and should not have been revoked without proper cause or notice. Please enjoy your honeymoon. We'll handle this internally. I apologize for the stress this caused during what should be a celebratory time." The second email was from Patricia in HR. She asked if I could make time for a call when I returned from my trip. She mentioned they were opening an investigation into departmental management practices. The third email was from Denise. It was one sentence. "I expect you to be available for critical issues while traveling." I didn't respond to her. Sarah and I had an incredible honeymoon. Santorini at sunset, fresh seafood on the water in Mykonos, ancient ruins in Athens. For 2 weeks, I barely thought about work. I checked my email once a day, saw nothing urgent, and put my phone away. When we got home, the office felt different. My first morning back, I had a meeting with Patricia and Marcus. They told me that my situation had triggered a broader review. Apparently, I wasn't the only one Denise had done this to. 3 other employees had similar complaints. Approved PTO revoked at the last minute, always with business justifications that didn't hold up under scrutiny. One woman had missed her grandmother's 90th birthday. Another guy had to cancel a surgery. Someone else lost a deposit on a family reunion venue. Denise, they told me, was being placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. 2 weeks later, she was terminated. I found out through the grapevine that it wasn't just the PTO issues. During the investigation, they discovered she'd been falsifying productivity reports to make her team look worse than we actually were. She was building a case to justify layoffs that would have made her look like a cost-cutting hero. We were collateral damage in her career ambitions. The company offered affected employees a formal apology and reimbursement for any non-recoverable expenses caused by revoked PTO. I didn't need it, we'd made our trip, but I appreciated the gesture. More importantly, they updated the PTO policy. Now, any approved time off with more than 30 days' notice cannot be revoked without written approval from HR and the department VP. It's called the good faith provision. I like to think I had something to do with that. As for me, I got a new manager. Guy named Derek. He's fine. Normal. Approves PTO without treating it like a hostage negotiation. But here's the thing that still gets me. That email Denise sent at 11:47 p.m. on my wedding night, she knew exactly what she was doing. She waited until the last possible moment, hoping I'd panic and comply, hoping I'd be too scared to push back, hoping she'd let me win. I almost did. If Sarah hadn't been there, if she hadn't looked at me and said, "We're going to Greece," I might have caved. I might have shown up to work that Monday, defeated, while our dream honeymoon sat unused. Some people count on you being too afraid to fight. They count on your professionalism, your reliability, your fear of consequences. And sometimes the only way to beat them is to stop playing their game entirely. My marriage is strong. My job is fine, and I have pictures from Santorini that I look at whenever I need to remember what I almost let someone take from me.
Thanks so much for sticking with me through this story. If you've ever had a boss try to ruin something important in your life, I want to hear about it. Drop your experience in the comments. You'd be amazed how many people have been through something similar. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next story. And if you've got your own workplace nightmare you want me to share, submit it through the link in the description. Your story might be next. Until then, take care of yourselves and don't let anyone steal your joy.